Ross, I see an ugly future ahead, and I'm not blaming the Labor government, although I think it's going to make it worse by too much spending and by too much more of the green policies that have helped get us into this mess. But today I went to the shops to buy a nice steak to cook for a guest after this show. Scotch fillet, thought nothing but the best.
Lovely.
$68 a kilo. I've never seen prices like that before. Petrol, $1.90 today, even after, with fuel excise being temporarily halved. I got a bunch of tomatoes to make a tomato sauce, $25. And we've got electricity prices rising and rising. We've got interest rates rising. Ross, I sense that we are hurtling into a cost of living crisis.
Do you know something? What you're talking about right there is inflation. Now, everybody is seeing it, everybody is feeling it. And so a few things have got to happen. Either number one, people's wages have got to rise, and there's a shortage of labour. We've got unemployment at 3.9% and probably heading to 3.5%. And if you've got a shortage of labour, well, then the price of labour will rise, and that will add to this inflation story. You've got the price of goods that are rising in price, partly as a result of the cost of electricity, partly the cost of petrol, partly the cost of food around the world is rising as a result of the Russia-Ukraine situation. The problem here is we somehow thought we were different, that we would escape all of the worries from the rest of the world. But when you see the UK closing in on double-digit inflation, the US above 8% right now and having to raise interest rates very sharply, the real problem is, as it's been said at the Bank of England, they're now on a narrow path to try and avoid recession as they raise interest rates. Well, right here, right now, the new Treasurer, Jim Chalmers, and also the Reserve Bank Governor, Philip Lowe, are on that same very narrow path, almost like hobbits wandering off towards Mordor in the Lord of the Rings. They can't fall off, right? But the reality is right now that path is very narrow and very slippery. And the real danger is that they don't get the settings right. And if they don't, then recession is potentially in front of Australia as it is other parts of the world.
Well, I'm going to note that as a prediction because I am afraid, Ross, that warning might come to fruition. Ross Greenwood, thank you so much indeed for your time.
Always a pleasure, Andrew.